Hi, everyone. Welcome to Pondering God. My name is Ron Bay Jr. Today's episode is titled, Seeing is Believing? Seeing is not always believing. Martin Luther King Jr. I found that people have difficulty believing in things they cannot see. But why? There are plenty of things I believe or believe in that I can't see, like God and Satan, heaven and hell, and the spirit that lives inside my body. That's why the religious leaders had so much trouble with Jesus and kept asking for signs. They simply didn't believe what they couldn't see or explain, or even believe what they did see. A man's hand is withered and then it isn't? How? Why? Maybe that's why the science people and the religious people are often at odds. Scientists consider what they can observe and measure, and when they can't, theories. Because they've realized that the universe is expanding, scientists have now concluded that the universe had a beginning. But who? How? Why? They're left with the what, and the remainder is unknown. Or is it? Because you can't see something, does that mean it doesn't exist? What about the wind? You can't see it, but you know it's there. I've often thought of God being like the wind. You can't see him, but you know he's there. Like the leaves rustling in the trees or the prairie grasses bowing from a persistent breeze, God's movements, his effects, are evident all around us. Science can answer much of the what questions, some of the how questions, but very little of the why. God is clearly evident in his creation, as it says in Romans chapter 1, verse 20. For since the creation of the world, his invisible attributes, his eternal power and divine nature have been clearly seen, being understood through what has been made, so that they are without excuse. Just look around at nature. You can't miss him. Or how about the mind of man? Scientists can track and monitor brain waves and electrical impulses, but they can't see the mind or thoughts of man, unless they are written over a character's head in a comic strip. But you can infer the thoughts of a man by his body language, his words, or his actions. Excepting, of course, an exasperated mother of a teenager who still cries out, "What were you thinking?" Can scientists explain the mind of man? Or when all is said and done, are they left with the questions how and why? Besides nature, God is also evident in the lives of men. He is the one who causes a lion of a man to lie down with the lambs, the one who takes our sinful nature and transforms it into a nature like his. Where we were once full of hate and anger and bitterness, we are now filled with love and peace and gratitude. A transformation that is invisible, as is the spirit that causes it, but the effects are clearly seen. Jesus said it much better than me, of course, as quoted in John chapter 3, verse 8. The wind blows where it wishes, and you hear the sound of it, but do not know where it is going. So is everyone who is born of the Spirit. It is this invisible God who through Jesus turned me, an enemy of his, into his friend. Satan, also invisible, is also clearly evident in the wake he leaves behind, a wake of chaos and destruction. His ultimate goal is to distract us and turn our attention away from God. Think the garden. Just look at the country around you. Broken families, aborted babies, drug deaths, killings, robberies, rebellion against parents and authority, confusion sown to distort the truth. What's a man? What's a woman? Satan's blowing wind is less like a breeze and more like a tornado, leading people to despair. As to the question posed in the title of this piece, is seeing believing? Faith has a different definition. Hebrews 11 verse 1 says, Now faith is assurance of things hoped for, the conviction of things not seen, believing in that which we cannot see. When Thomas finally met the Lord post-resurrection, he said this after touching Jesus, My Lord and my God. Jesus said to him, Because you have seen me, have you believed? Blessed are they who did not see and yet believed. From John chapter 20, verses 28 and 29. You'll notice children have no trouble believing in things they cannot see. It is interesting that Jesus said, Truly I say to you, unless you are converted and become like children, you shall not enter the kingdom of heaven. Everyone believes in things they cannot see, scientists included. What you believe in what or who you put your faith in has eternal consequences. Be sure of this truth. When your body dies, the spirit that you cannot see will depart and go somewhere. Do you know where your spirit is destined to spend eternity? Well, there you go, folks. Another episode of Pondering God in the books. I thank you for joining me, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Thanks, and have a great day.